Cornhole has been an increasingly popular sport to play. If you don't have a corn board to play with, we're going to teach you how to make one today. Come follow me and I'll train you how to do it. Alright, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go out to the hardware store and pick up all the materials that we're going to need for today's project. Okay, so to reiterate what we just did, we went out and we picked up some wood filler, some screws. These are 1 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch screws by 5 inches, and then a wing nut to close the end up so it's easy to loosen or tighten for the legs. Second thing we did was we picked up 2 boards. These are 3/4 inch thickness so that it does not flex when the bags hit the board. These are measured by 48 inches long by 24 inches wide. Second thing we did was we went and picked up 6 2x4s. These are going to be used for the legs as well as the base for durability. Before we get started, we're going to need to find out what tools we're going to need so that we can put our cornhole board together. First things first, we're going to need a drill to drill our screws in. 2, a wood putty knife for our wood putty. 3, a paintbrush for the paint. This is our straight edge. We're going to need a router. The router is going to give our edges a smooth, nice finish look. 2, you're going to need to pick up some routing bits. Safety is extremely important in this when working with cutting of wood. So we're going to need some glasses there. 2, a saw to cut our wood with. And so that we don't have any deviation when our bags hit, so they don't slide back and forth and they have a nice clean edge, we're going to need a level and again a straight edge. So, let's get started. Okay, we're going to start off with our board making a hole about 9 inches down from the top. We're going to measure that out, place a mark here, and then we're also going to need to make our next line with our tape measure 12 inches from the center of the hole 9 inches down. We'll mark that. In order to be accurate on the size of the hole that we're going to cut, our template, you'll need to find a compass. Any drafting compass, you can buy them at Menards or any hardware store for pretty cheap. We're going to make that hole 3 inches so that our diameter is a total of 6 inches. Okay, this is going to be our starting point right here. Again, 9 inches from the top, 12 inches from the side. It's going to be where our starting point is. Our compass is set to 3 inches. Simply make our hole here. Alright, safety is always going to be a priority, so we're going to make sure that you have your safety glasses with you and on at all times. The router that we're going to use, the routing bit that we're going to use, is going to be a small straight edge so that we can make a nice clean cut around the outside of the hole that we just made, that we just drew out. And we're going to make sure that our router does work. It does. So we're ready to start. We're going to start right about here as close to the edge as possible and just follow around the line until the middle piece falls out. Now that we have our hole made, we're going to change our bit out to where we have the rounded edge bit rather than the straight bit. So make sure you have that changed out, and we're going to route that outside of the hole so we get a nice, smooth, rounded finish. Then what we'll do next, what you'll see next, is we'll start on the edges. Alright, same thing we just did around the hole, but we're going to start on the edges now. So let's get to it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to make our first piece for the base. So we're going to grab a 2x4 here. And we're going to measure it against the length of the base. Okay, now that we have our next board cut, what we're going to do is we're going to measure the distance between the two. And just as what I thought, that's 21 inches. And we're ready to cut the top and bottom portion of our base. Okay, now that we're got all of our pieces cut, we're going to flip it over and we're going to screw it in from the top. Okay, so we're going to place a screw on each end and then 3 screws in the middle and separate them by thirds. So 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll put in 2 screws up at the top and in the bottom. So 1, 2 here, and then 1, 2 there. Okay, now that we drilled all the screws in, I want to show you exactly what it looks like. So this is getting up close and personal look. Okay, we're going to need 2 legs, so we're going to measure those at 14 inches apiece. Measure that out. Two 14-inch legs. Okay, so what I did was I put a 1/4-inch drill bit into my drill. We're going to drill 2 holes, one on each side for our bolts so we can place our legs. Okay, so in order for our leg to move freely, like this, what we're going to do is we're going to cut at a 45-degree angle here and a 45-degree angle here so that, again, our leg moves